Lane Kiffin got his biggest win ever as the head coach of Ole Miss Football. They beat LSU 55-49. It was so crazy watching this game. I mean, I had a roller coaster of emotions rooting for Ole Miss in this game because I picked them to win this game. And the reason why I felt like Ole Miss had a good opportunity to win this game is because the majority of upsets that have been occurring in college football have been when the team that's the underdog is at home. And LSU, they're a good team, but Ole Miss is a really good team also. And a lot of people really have been overlooking Ole Miss. Even going back into this season, nobody really expected Ole Miss to be all this good. But you look at their performance against Alabama, it definitely probably didn't give you a lot of confidence in them going into this game. But Ole Miss has a damn good offense. They got a really good group of receivers. Jackson Dart is playing at a Heisman level. And oh my goodness, LSU secondary is historically bad. This is one of the worst secondaries that LSU has had in a very long time. And ain't this supposed to be DBU? LSU takes so much pride in claiming they're DBU, but they have no good defensive backs on their roster. I mean, Ole Miss, I was surprised that LSU came back when they were down 21-7. Because to be honest with you, once Ole Miss went up 21-7, I thought Ole Miss was going to steamroll LSU in this game. But to their credit, you know, after Jaden Daniels got hit stick, because Ole Miss defense, despite how bad it is, them boys came through in some very big moments in this game, and they did create some turnovers. Like, it was one player on Ole Miss that absolutely destroyed Jaden Daniels. I mean, he laid the kaboom on that fool, and the ball came flying. I was like, damn. And after that, I guess Jaden Daniels just got locked in, and he was just absolutely dissecting Pete Golding's defense. I mean, Malik Neighbors was going off. They had another receiver that was going off. One thing about LSU, they're going to have some great receivers, but they don't have no good secondary. And their secondary costed them this game. And it costed them against Florida State. And I'm really surprised that LSU secondary is this bad. Like, all the guys they brought in from the transfer portal, they were even bringing in guys last year. You would have thought they would have got it right by now. Their front seven is pretty good, but their back end is probably going to cost them. And this is their second loss of the season. I know LSU people are going to say, you can't count us out yet. There's still a lot of ball to be played. And they are a really good team, but their secondary is dog water, man. Alabama, they don't really got an offense, but Ole Miss does. And anytime you face a team with an offense, you're going to have to be able to go point for point against them. And it's going to be, I mean, it's not going to be hard to do that, but it's just that you're kind of going to have to make sure that you have the ball on the last possession. Because if you don't and your defense is on the field, they're going to lose you the game. And talking about defense, I mean, Ole Miss defense, I was surprised that they were able to get out to the start that they did. They got a couple of starts. They got the team out to a 21-7 lead. And after they got that Jaden Daniels hit stick fumble, I don't know what the hell happened to this defense. This defense just fell apart. And when LSU had the ball on the final offensive possession of this game for them, I thought that Ole Miss defense was finna cave. I was like, here we go. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, they're about to blow. They're about to choke this game away. And I picked these fools to win. But their defense, to my surprise, actually got the stop. And I couldn't believe it. And Lane Kiffin, he damn near had a heart attack. Like, if you saw Lane Kiffin on the sideline during that whole entire drive, it's like his whole career was flashing in front of him. I've never seen Lane Kiffin as stressed out as he was the final possession of this game. Because I do feel like there was just a little bit of pressure on Lane Kiffin to win this game. Because I made a segment last week asking, was he overrated? And I did a poll in the community tab, and 75% of people voted that he is. And the reason for that is because he doesn't really have any signature wins prior to this one. This is a really big win for Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. I don't think we can stress this enough. Regardless of how Ole Miss season goes, it's like now they control their own destiny. Because if they win out, They potentially could be in the SEC championship, depending if Alabama loses another game, which Alabama definitely could. Because I don't see how Alabama can survive just by having a great defense and a lackluster offense that just can get points based on busting out big runs. But Ole Miss, this offense is one of the best in the country. Quinshon Judkins, he was going crazy. This defense is terrible. But one thing about it is that I think it's more important to have an elite offense in college football than it is to have an elite defense. The programs that have elite defenses but lackluster offenses, they never go anywhere. Look at Iowa. Look at Illinois. So I'd rather have an elite offense versus having an elite defense. Give me that shit any day of the week. Ole Miss, they can go point for point with anybody. Yeah, they got body back by Alabama, but Alabama's defense is playing at an all-world level. But eventually, Alabama is going to get into a bind when they're going to face a team that's going to have an offense that can put points up on that defense like they did against Texas, and they're going to have a defense that is good enough to neutralize that offense. So, Ole Miss, this is a very big win for this program. Like, the fans, they stormed the field after. They were going bananas. It was pandemonium down there. Like, Lane Kiffin, I thought he was damn near about to break down and cry. Like, I felt so happy for Lane Kiffin winning this game because you could tell, like, he really wanted this game. He was super stressed out. Like, I strongly would have wanted to see what would have happened if LSU would have scored. What would have happened after the game? Like, would Lane Kiffin would have cut ties with Pete Golden? Because I would have. I mean, damn, like, he looked really stressed out. You always see Lane Kiffin as this high, energetic, outgoing guy. But in this game, like, he really looked this stressed out. But Ole Miss came through with the win. LSU, you got to fix that secondary. All right? I mean, it doesn't matter how good your offense is if you have a trash secondary. Now, can you go point for point with nearly any team that you play? You can. But at the same time, what's going to happen when your offense is going up against a top-notch defense? Like right now, you may think you got a great chance at beating Alabama, but it's like your defense, your secondary, they probably could give us some big plays. And one thing about Alabama, they got a very good defense. Their defense is good enough to slow down your offense. Even though Texas put up a lot of points on that defense, Texas has one of the best rosters in college football. So for LSU, man, that secondary is really bad. They got to clean that up ASAP. And Ole Miss, their schedule is about to get really interesting. Okay, because we're now about to see Ole Miss go through the SEC gauntlet. Because they don't have no more easy games. Like, every game is going to be a knockout, drag-out brawl. Ole Miss, like, they lost to Alabama. And I was eager to see how they were going to be able to respond. Because for Ole Miss, they almost lost to Tulane. Tulane was putting it on them in the first half until they woke up in the second half. And then they lose to Alabama last week. Normally, when teams lose to Alabama, their season kind of falls off the rails. But the fact that they were able to bounce back in a big way and they improved to 4-1 on the season, they got to play Arkansas, Auburn, Vanderbilt. You really like their next 3 games. And you like them to be able to go into that Texas A&M game 7-1. And then maybe you beat Texas A&M. And then you got to play Georgia on the road. Imagine we only have a 1-loss Ole Miss team against Georgia on the road. I mean, the SEC is wide open this year. You guys may not think that Ole Miss doesn't have a chance at winning this thing, but they definitely do. And I think that Alabama has the way tougher schedule to close out the end of this season than what Ole Miss does. So I could definitely see Ole Miss maybe with only 1 conference loss to Bama, and Bama maybe with 2. It's no guarantee that Bama's going to be able to beat LSU. I mean, with how Alabama's offense is, with it being so inefficient and inconsistent, there are going to be games that are going to be close where they're going to need their offense to score points late, and they're not going to be able to do it. So Ole Miss is walking out with the win, 55-49.